Someone once suggested the reason dogs are called man's best friend is because they're not always asking for an explanation. Whether they ask or not, it's easier having a dog around if the proper rules of behavior are understood. And since the dogs aren't going to ask, one way to teach them is by sending them to school. The Ketchikan Parks and Recreation Department offers a dog obedience class.
A well-trained dog has more freedom than a dog without any training. A dog without any training is going to be fenced or kenneled or tied up or shut out of the family activity. A dog that is well-trained, that knows come, heel, sit, stay, no, that dog can go with the family on hikes, to the beach, on a fun time, and it can go out and really enjoy life rather than sitting in the backyard its whole life.
Anita Moran offers a dog obedience class in Ketchikan. Her interest in dog training came about when her husband wanted an Irish wolfhound. Such a large dog would require training, so Moran took a course offered by Ketchikan Parks and Rec. She obtained a second dog, a Bouvier, and soon she was an expert at training dogs.
When you're training your dog, you always take off the other collars so that they get the idea that when you have the training collar on, you mean business. It's not fun and games, it's work time. And most dogs, when they hear the jingle of the training collar, really do look forward to working, because it is a very positive experience that they spend with their owners. Molly, down. That's a good girl. Good girl. Stay. When you have a large dog, you start out when they're very young. People ask me, when's the best time to start training the dog? And I tell them, well, by not training them, you're already teaching them something. So the minute that dog gets home, you start training. You make up your mind what you want the dog to know as an adult, and then that's what you work toward. Molly, come. Good girl. Heel. Good. Molly's good reward spot is here. You can just see the expression on her face. That's you scratch her there, and oh, she's yours for life. Katie, I've not really taught her any tricks other than just the basic work commands. The heeling, she pulls a cart that I hope to use for firewood soon. She's just a general work dog, a draft animal. She also carries a pack that we use when we go hiking and camping and that sort of thing. But getting any dog used to anything, you start gradually and work up. You don't start them out with carrying a 90-pound load. And then, again, it's a training situation, so you have the training collar on, and you just start out. And she could go all day with an empty pack, but then you start adding weight to it. Well, good girl. Good girl. So she'd be a welcome party to any hiking expedition. Wouldn't ya? Good girl.
While Moran was training Katie to perform useful tasks around the house, she was also preparing the dog for competition and shows. As Katie needed to perform a long sit and a long stay with the distraction of at least 8 other dogs, Moran decided the best way to bring that many dogs together in one place was to teach a dog obedience class. That was over 5 years ago, and she has been sharing her expertise with Ketchikan dog owners ever since.
Tell your dog to stay.
Stay.
Stay. Pivot in front of your dog.
Stay.
What I try to do in the 6 weeks class is teach the owner a different way to communicate to their dog. Teach the owner that they have to be consistent with what they say, and they have to insist that the dog do what they say. If they're not familiar with any of the behavioristic learning theories, then it's a matter of teaching them reward for the good action and negative reinforcement for the bad. And you take away a bad action, you fill that void with a good action. What's you want the dog to do, that's what you praise. Instead of operant conditioning where it's shaping, you just praise it, you're actually making the dog do what you want and then praising it, and gradually you take away the cues that you give the dog to do the behavior, like putting your dog in a sit with the hand and with the upward tug. You take that away and you just tell your dog to sit. And eventually, just as you're walking along and stopping, you don't have to tell your dog to sit. It learns to do that. It's very slow, but steady. One of the behaviors that in the class, if they have any behaviors that they're unhappy with their dogs, I try to tell them ways they can retrain their dog. Obviously, the dog has learned that someplace, so we have to unlearn it and teach it anew. We replace the negative behavior with the positive one. That way it's a lot faster. If somebody comes to the door, Katie barks, and then I say, good girl, and then I tell her to come. This is your recall that we were teaching in the class. Then when she does come, I make her sit, and then I do insist she be quiet. And since she's right there with me, I can enforce it. It's a lot different than your dog barking at the door and then going to the dog, and the dog's jumping around hysterically, and you say, quiet, 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 quiet 50 times, and the dog is still barking. Okay, in that situation, the dog is in charge. With a very young dog, we try to stress that the training time should be really short, 2 or 3 times, 5 minutes a day, and that's it. And they need time to be a puppy.
No. Tell her no, Angie. When she moves, you tell her no.
Her class is open to dogs 4 months or older. She suggests you decide what you want your dog to know as an adult and start training while it's still young.
By not teaching your dog anything, by waiting until the dog is 6 months or a year and a half, by not training him, you're teaching the dog he's boss. You want the dog to learn ideally that the owner is the boss. If the dog knows that right from the beginning, then it avoids a whole lot of problems.
Okay, heel. Girl, okay, heel.
A Juneau veterinarian seeking solitude in the wilderness. Sitka's Sheldon Jackson Museum, one of the oldest museum buildings in the United States, and a dog obedience class in Ketchikan. Just 3 more facets of life in rain country. We'll explore more next week at the same time. I'm Scott Walker. Have a good day.